Hey guys, um, so you got 33-inch tires on a 4.5 inches of lift, and you want to keep your fender flares here because you want to keep as stock look as you can. But one of the things that you're running into, even with an adjustable suspension, is a little bit of a rubbing issue. More specifically, right here at this corner, when you have the wheels lock to lock, and you have a little bit of rubbing there. So one of the things that you can do is you can actually keep your stock fender flare and cut the fender and move the flare back about a whole inch, and that'll clear you up some space here. So one of the first things that we have to do is have to put out your fender liners, which are being held in by whatever is left of these little Christmas tree fasteners, and one of these tools will help you get it out. Once that's done, you can shimmy it and fight it out of there, and she'll come right out. The next thing that we're going to be tackling are those bolt screw things that are holding on the actual fender, this plastic fender flare, onto the actual fender. These usually all break, so just be prepared for that. If they don't break, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but on the other side, I broke them all. The other thing we're going to be doing is clearancing up a little bit of space here. This jagged edge right here where the two pieces of the unibody meet, they kind of tend to slash tires, and this is the portion that we're going to be cutting out. So get yourself a 10 or an 11 millimeter deep socket, or a box wrench, and you can start breaking those out of there, and good luck. So when you're done fighting all those and breaking all of them, take out those brackets that are holding up the fender flare. Those right there. And should have probably done this since the beginning, but there is an 8 millimeter little screw or sheet metal screw right under the fender right here. Go ahead and take that out, and we might be using it again right now, so go ahead and get it out. So this is the part where it starts getting a little complicated. The lines that we're going to be using, you should have a pretty okay fender if your fender flare is intact, but well, I should not be writing on this one, but this is more or less the area where I want to finish my cut, and I want to start using this line right here, which is, let me see I can focus here, this very bottom edge of the fender, the one where, let me see, this line right here. This is the line that we want to use, and we're going to tape all of this up. We're going to mark it back about an inch, and then we're going to take it up to this body line right here, right at this edge or this corner right here, and let me show you what it looks like. So I marked out more or less about an inch, and I took it up to that body line that we were talking about, which is going to be about right here, and then I made a small little, and not a 45, but a small little angle upwards, just so that we don't have a sharp cut off edge right here. I drew the line, and then I drew some lines across. This is the bottommost edge where we used to mark. This is the bend of the sheet metal there, and then I have a couple of one more line down there. Now those lines are going to be relief cuts. You can very well just go ahead and chop all of this off, but I'm not a fan of open sharp edges like that, so we're gonna cut it at those relief cuts and then we're gonna bend the sheet metal inwards, and we're gonna shape it to the form that we need and clearance this out a little bit more. Now this is the part where some of you guys might get squeamish, but don't worry, you're not gonna be able to see these. Go ahead and make your cuts there, 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 and down there. And go ahead and start also cutting here. There are some spot welds that you guys need to be aware of. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot be cutting through those spot welds. I'm gonna take a Sharpie right now. You're gonna feel the small indentation. That is where you have a spot weld. You have a spot weld up here. Just follow the witcher line. There's a spot weld right here. There's another spot weld back here. There's a spot weld right here. Wait. Right there. It's a spot weld right here. And that's it for spot welds. Go ahead and mark them up and cut in between those. It's only about 3/4 of an inch that you're gonna cut, and then you're gonna hammer this in. So after you go ahead and take your favorite hammer and smash all of this in just enough to where it won't get in the way, or this edge won't slash your tire. You should be pretty okay. This is where we're gonna start folding up some of this sheet metal. As you can see, I already have one of these already bent up. I made an extra cut there and just bent up that tab, but these are only about an inch in, so we're gonna have about an inch in tabs, and we're gonna go ahead and start folding all of these in. These ones are gonna get bent in with some pliers. In this case, I have just a pair of channel locks. I'm gonna take them by the edge right here where you have my marks and slowly start working them in. Bend them in a little bit straighter, and we'll see you in a bit. When you're done making your edges, you can go ahead and throw some spray paint in there. And then let's move on to the next step. So all of these little remainings of the studs that are pressed in need to get hammered out. I just put them over a 1/2 inch socket and then just hammered them out. And take a pair of channel locks and just wheel them out of there and straighten out that sheet metal as it does that. So once it's out, we're gonna hammer it back straight, and we're gonna drill out a little bit holes. So after you manage to fight all these little studs that are pressed into this little retainer bracket, you want to go ahead and drill this out to about, what was it, 3/8. I used the step bit, which is right here, more or less. And what I'm going to be using are these, what are these? I think they're 1/4 inch by 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches. I don't remember. With their perspective nuts and washers. What I also did was that I got 2 nuts and 2 washers per bolt. And what I also did was that I got a 1/4 inch fender washer to go along with it. And the way that these are gonna go is that you're gonna put a washer on each side held in by the nut. You're gonna hold on to this last nut until the very end, so we can hold in this is what's gonna be holding in that plastic liner that's over there. But let me set this up and I'll show you. So once these new screws are all in, you see how they're all replaced. Total of 7 of them, all of them replaced. You can go ahead and start putting your fender flare back on the way it comes from the factory. And let me show you that in a bit. Okay, so once you have these ones tightened up, you're only going to be able to tighten these top bolts up, because what happens is that this is going to get pushed back and in. So these ones are not going to be really doing anything in here. They're just to hold this bracket up here. So what you're gonna do is that you're gonna get that as close as you can to those bends or folds that you made. You're gonna push it back, you're gonna push it in and stay flush with it, and you're gonna drop in a new hole into the bottom of the fender, and this will keep this back just far enough for you to bend it and screw it in, and it'll hold. Once you have this situated and your gap is good, go ahead and start tightening everything up. I would start here and work my way back. Get an 11mm wrench or whatever size you're going to be needing, and slowly start to work them and tighten them up. Okay, so once all of that's tight, you're going to use those large fender washers, and you're gonna use it to hold in your plastic liner. And then you can put in your Christmas tree fasteners. If you're missing any, then well, you're gonna have to get some new ones. But here, the easiest way is to cut it right where this is at, so that you don't have this dangling. Other than that, it's just pretty much it. This is about as clean as it's gonna get. Let me show you all. So the other side came out a little bit cleaner than this side, but this side also had a collision. So let me show you all. That is the clearance that you have. You bump stop this correctly and you should be pretty okay. You can adjust your suspension to what you need, but If you want to keep your plastic, your factory flares, this is how you do it. Thanks for watching, guys.